This past week we got the third round of releases from the Dunk vs Air Force One pack, featuring an all-black Dunk with some pony hair accents, as well as an Air Force One with some blue crocodile accents. I wasn't able to get either of the colorways before I could get to checkout. My sizes unfortunately were sold out, but that's alright, because what I have here for you today is my favorite colorway so far from the Dunk vs Air Force One pack, and it's of course the Dunk in the Canteen colorway. For those of you who aren't that into sneakers, this name Dunk vs Air Force One might be a little bit confusing. That word versus makes it feel like it's a head-to-head or a battle between the Dunk and the Air Force One. But really, the way I see it, it's more of a celebration. A celebration of both the Dunk and Air Force One as a silhouette, and the relationship between Nike and Undefeated. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with Undefeated, they are an LA-based streetwear and sneaker boutique. And for the past almost 20 years, they've been releasing collaborations with Nike. And with this latest concept, the Dunk vs Air Force One, they're reaching back into the vault, taking Air Force One colorways and applying them to the Dunk, taking Dunk colorways and applying it to the Air Force One. A really cool idea, because at its base, the Dunk and the Air Force One have very similar paneling, which would allow something like this to work really nicely. But that's enough background. Let's get into the review, starting with the packaging. So some special packaging here. We get this blue color box with Dunk vs Air Force One at the top. We have a Nike logo in that original orange color, as well as the Undefeated logo and the 5 tally marks. And that number 5 is sort of a theme in this collaboration. So all of these colorways that we've seen so far have one thing in common, and that's each of them have 5 materials used on the silhouette. I actually think this was one of the capture questions at checkout on the Undefeated website. How many materials are in X colorway? And the answer will always be 5. So in a second, when we take a look at the shoes, we'll go through the 5 materials that we get on this silhouette. On the side here, we get a Nike logo again. And then on this end, we get another Undefeated and Nike logo. Another nod back to that almost 20-year partnership. And then finally, let's take a look at the label here. Small detail here, it's a glossy black label, not something that you see very often, but official name of these, Nike Dunk Low SP or Special / Undefeated. Official colors are Canteen, Lemon Frost, and Palomino. Style code DH3061200. I got these directly from Undefeated, and as you can see, they ripped off the retail tag. Now, for our sizing, I find that Dunk Lows run true to size. My true size in Nikes is 8.5, so Air Maxes, Blazers, Bruins, 8.5 in all of them. I got that here, and I find these actually do run a little bit big. So I'd say about a half size big. With an 8, I would have been perfect. As far as women's sizing, the size conversion is always 1.5 sizes up for Nike, so this 8.5 in men's would be a 10 in women's. Alright, now taking a look inside, Dunk vs Air Force One on the paper, but then what we want to see, finally, the shoes here. So it's a really nice colorway. Looking at these again, actually really bummed that the sizing is a little off, but let's take both pairs out and take a closer look. Alright, so now let's take a closer look at the materials on this Dunk. And as I mentioned, we have 5 different materials here. So let's start around the toe box with this textile or canvas material here. If you look into the inspiration here, this line design is one very commonly found on Middle Eastern headdresses, or in Arabic known as a shemeg. Just like the Air Force One colorway, these also include what looks like color-matched leather piping around these areas. So we get this leather piping all around the toe box and up the eyelets here in all the areas where we have that shemeg printed textile. And then on the toe box itself, we have this leather material with this design, almost looks like it's been lasered in, rough to the touch, and it also looks like another shemeg style print. Really interesting material here. I don't think I've ever seen leather that's been lasered in such a way on any other silhouette. Curious to see how these wear. One concern of mine would be over time these raised areas will start to peel or crack, but we really won't know until some time has passed. This same material is used on the quarter panel here. Nice contrast with our lemon frost swoosh. You can kind of tell on the video it is a pretty thick piece of leather here. The yellow is a little bit muted, but definitely pops with the contrast from that darker brown quarter panel. Then around our heel here, we get this smooth leather in a palomino color. Metal eyelets on the wings here, and that smooth leather goes around the whole entire heel of the shoe. It's a matte finish and pretty decent quality. And then finally, that was 4 materials, our 5th. They just got away with it with this little suede piece here. Nike logo in white printed in. I would have liked to see this embroidered in, but it looks like our embroidery that would have been here got moved here in the form of an Undefeated logo. On the tongue, we get another Undefeated logo on the label. Textile, a little bit of piping around the tongue as well. On the other side, we just get your regular licensing. Looking on the inside, we can see it feels like the padding that's around here is a little bit more sculpted than your regular Dunk Low. That might have something to do with the discrepancy we're seeing in the sizing. Dunk versus Air Force One on the insole here in that same light brown color. Nothing on the aglets. And of course, being an SP, we do get some lemon frost colored laces as well if you want to really brighten up your shoes. And last detail, the underside of this tongue is actually a leather material. As far as the midsole outsole goes, it's your regular Dunk Low affair, so white midsole, white stitching, and then brown color on the outsole here. Overall, these are definitely my favorite colorway from this pack so far. I am a little bit bummed about the sizing, so if you're looking to get a pair of these, definitely go a half size down. As far as the actual release goes, I'm really liking what Undefeated is doing with all of the capture questions. Definitely not a fan of drawing boxes around airplanes and cats, but it gives me a shot at actually getting a pair of these for retail, and if that's what I gotta do, then I'm all for it. That's all I have to say about these. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more sneaker content, and I'll catch you on the next video.